So I want to share you guys this art project. This was done in 2015, around the same time that, what was that? What was his name? Was it Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri? Um, so this is Casey Adams. She is indigenous. I don't know exactly what indigenous tribe she belongs to, but she did an art project, and the Winnipeg Free Press put it in their paper. And I want to show you these images also explain what the stereotypes are about. So they put up one image, obviously not smiling, and you see the word useless. But then as we personalize it, she gives a smile, and you read a little bit about who she says she is. Okay. I'm gonna go through a few more of these images here. Right? You're looking at this, a welfare mom? Maybe, right? Maybe not, but just looking at her, you're gonna stereotype her as that? A hooker, right? This one, I think somebody was kind of talking about this when you guys were talking about the black hand that was on the chain around the neck, right? Well, kind of the same thing here. A wannabe Indian, someone who is also indigenous, but is looked at from inside that indigenous tribe as, wait, you're not one of us. Maybe because of the color of her skin, right? I don't know. So you see how we automatically kind of create stereotypes just from what we see. I want to get to a few more images, so I'm kind of gonna buzz through these a bit. This one in particular, do you see this? A shit disturber? Really? What? How do you even create that story from looking at this woman? And I'll end on this one. So those images were all part of, again, the Casey Adams indigenous or her project highlighting the racism in Winnipeg. That's in Canada, folks. That's not here in the States. So everybody thinks, oh man, racism doesn't happen in Canada. Canadians are nice. Yeah, okay, fine. People are nice. But I would almost venture to say that indigenous people on this continent have had it much worse than anybody else. Okay, yeah, we were kind of, our ancestors were brought over here against their will, but I don't think they had their land taken from them and then sold it back to them at a high cost they couldn't afford. Hold on, Colin. Yeah, you can go ahead and unmute, Colin.
Just wanted to add a little factoid that the Proud Boys was started by a Canadian.
There you go. Uh-oh, we lost somebody. So yeah, right? Racism is not just, or sorry, stereotypes and racism in general is not just here in the States. This is a problem that's been around in the world. Again, I mentioned colonialism, right? It stems from a lot of that. But yeah, so Casey Adams is a world-renowned artist too. And I thought that was that was back in 2015. What has changed, if anything, now in 2021? And that's a wide open question. So there's many different avenues, but if anyone wants to add what they think might have been different in 2015 to now 2021. I'll start. I think there's much more awareness because the news cycle is it turns over so fast. So we've really become much more globally aware of what's going on. And I think we're able to see these things much more quickly. We have much more access to them in 2021. Doesn't mean things have changed. It means we see it more and more. So that makes us think it might be worse. Doesn't mean it's worse. It means it's been going on the whole time. We just now see it. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, Collins, your hand's still up? Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I put it up and down. I'm just trying to wait my turn. I think Roderick was about to speak.
Okay.
No, I was going to say, I don't really think a lot has changed, but one of the things that I think should recognize is that the allyship of others has been different since the Michael Brown murder. So I do think that that's helpful. Certainly, a lot of us aren't sitting at the right tables and making to make those necessary decisions and policy changes and all of that. So I think the allyship is certainly helpful. And we're starting to see how some of that can have an impact. As far as commenting on the photography, one of the things that I noticed with the pictures, of course, is, the smiling pictures are the ones that had the story behind it and was redeeming, so to speak. But it reinforces I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but it also reinforces that expectation that in order to be accepted or acceptable, you have to shuck and jive, put a smile on your face. And I remember just early in my career, I had always, I had this deep voice as long as you've known me, right? So I had to always kind of watch my inflections. And every time I talked to, some of my white female employees, it was just like, are you mad? Are you upset? Like, I got to soften things up and seem a little more, friendly and, hey,
Right.
gotcha, and smile a little bit just so people don't feel intimidated. And it seemed like those photos and that project just reinforced that. I don't know if it's a stereotype or whatever we need to do in order to be seen as acceptable.
No, absolutely, man. I appreciate that. Yes, I agree. So I'm going to touch on that in a second about positive stereotypes, right? Is that a thing? But so, yes, while that helped soften the stone-faced image so that you thought of someone differently, what if I'm having a bad day? What if I don't want to smile? What if I don't, naturally, okay, yes, I naturally smile, but what if I don't naturally smile, right? Why can't I just be me and go through my path on my life without having someone create a story based on how I look?
Because you can't do what everybody else does.
I'd really like to lean on what Roderick said about the tone of voice and why that to me is impactful right now. I don't have the deepest voice, but my son does. And he is 14 right now. And he has been purposely going up a few octaves of recent because he got commented on it by a number of his teachers and some of his students. And I have actually been pushing him to get them to get used to him at his lower voice, not to change his overall identity so that they'll be more comfortable and that they will get comfortable with him over time because of the shine of his personality. And I think actually that I know I've been doing that over the years, and I definitely changed my code of speech because I have been accused of that so often, and because it has exhausted me to the nth degree. But I have also started to vet who I work for, and I think that my youth and my desire to survive, where when I got a job coming towards me, I took it. So I've had way more. Forgive me, but I've had way more privilege at my age now, to the point where I'm not quite as on guard. So my big thing now is to teach my kids not to be as on guard and for them to not switch who they are for the comfort of others, but just learn tact, learn modesty, learn humility, and learn, good articulation, but you don't have to totally switch who you are as a person. So I think that's how I've been trying to fight that type of stereotype is just working with those people every single day, so that they're not assuming so many things about me through those images in comparison to the way that lady was posting those photographs.
No, you're so right. I think life experience has something to do with that too. Again, and we got a couple younger guys on the call as well, right? You're younger, you're trying to figure things out. So that's what we talk about when we're saying play the game, right? You got to play the game. So you got to feed into some of the stereotypes in order to get your foot in the door to see, all right, well, this is my path. I gotta survive. I gotta make money. I gotta feed my family. So I've got to kind of buy into some of that a little bit in order to get further. I can speak to that too, Colin. I think as I've gotten older, well, heck, I'm holding this conversation. I'm holding this workshop. I've seen some things, and you feel a certain kind of way as I've gotten older, and I want to not have to give in to those stereotypes. I want to be me, whatever that is, and feel free to transcend barriers if I so please, if I want to, right? If I want to, be with my homies and, relax and not have to be on guard. Yeah, I want to do that. If I want to do that, I mean, again, why should any of us have to be a certain way to be accepted for who we are? It's bottom line, right?
Agreed.
Can I add
Yeah, please.
One of the things that I can say has been helpful in my career is to have that nice balance, because even though I did have to work through some of those issues to be a little more emotionally intelligent to the needs of my staff, I definitely will say that I am giving the same ride that everybody else gets, outside of work, at work. I don't really fake it. And what I found is that has helped me in my career, because they know that what they see is what they get. And so it helps build that trust. But if they hear you on the cell phone in the parking lot talking to your friends one way, and you come to work a whole totally different way, then they start to wonder if what they're getting at work is the real you. And I never wanted to have that reputation precede me. And I think it's definitely helped with opportunities.
And you know what, that I thank you for making that point. I will get to something a little bit later in the presentation, but that was a choice that you made, right? Would that be accurate? That was a choice you made.
Yes, deliberate choice. Yes.